right away. Let's get into the first introduction, if you'd like, of Surat-ul Fatiha. And this is, of course, after we have gone through a mini introduction to seeking knowledge, and we discussed some of the basic etiquettes of a student of knowledge with him or herself, as well as a student of knowledge with their teacher or sheikh. And we gave you a series of points that, inshallah, you could use throughout our discussions. And these points that I've given to you were also points that I've used for myself, that I've benefited from tremendously, and I still benefit from them even till this day. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always and forever for His tawfiq. And having said that, inshallah, let's begin with the first subtopic of Surah Al-Fatiha, which is the name. So we're going to look at the name of Surah Al-Fatiha. The word Al-Fatiha, of course, comes from the word Fataha yaftahu. Fataha literally means to open something. And the reason why Surah Al-Fatiha is called Fatiha, because it opens the book of Allah Azza wa Jal by its recitation when you use it in prayer. So basically, when you say Surah Al-Fatiha in your salah, in your prayer, this is the reason why it's been given the opening. It's been titled this, because this is what begins officially your prayer. And we're going to come, inshallah, if there's time, to just a short side discussion about the person who doesn't use Surah Al-Fatiha in their salah. We're going to discuss, inshallah, a very basic, what is the fiqh ruling regarding the person who doesn't do that. And believe it or not, there is a difference of opinion amongst the ulama. Imam Abu Hanifa has a completely separate discussion on this with very strong evidences to support that Surah Al-Fatiha is not a criteria for the validity of a salah. From the names of the Surah Al-Fatiha, it is also called al-Qur'an, which is, of course, the mother of the Qur'an. It is also called the mother of the kitab, or the book, al-Kitab, the mother of the book. And this is, of course, according to the majority of Mufassirun. In addition to that, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us in an authentic hadith that all praise and thanks are due to Allah Azza wa Jal, the Lord of the universe. And when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this, it continues the narration, all praises and thanks is due to Allah Azza wa Jal, Lord of the universe, and the mother of the Qur'an. He's referring to Surah Al-Fatiha. Now he's praising this one surah alone, calling it the mother of the Qur'an, the mother of the book, the 7 often repeated verses of the great Qur'an. In Arabic we call this Sab'ul Mathani. So the 7 often repeated verses of the Qur'an. And this is also in reference to an ayah in Surah Al-Hijr. In addition to that, another name for Surah Al-Fatiha, and this is found in also many books of tafsir, that it is also called al-Qur'an. It is also the mother of the entire Qur'an. Actually, we mentioned that. The next one here that I will give you is Al-Qur'an Al-Azim. This is what I want to mention. Al-Qur'an Al-Azim, meaning the great Qur'an. The word Azim comes from the word Azama. Azama means something that is vast, something that is powerful, something that is great, something that's beyond this world, something that even you can't find names, you can't find words to describe how amazing, how vast. It just leaves you completely. One of the names of the Surah Al-Fatiha is also, it is called the Great Qur'an. Now this is interesting, because it's not called the Great Surah. It's referred to as the Great Qur'an. Now the reason why Surah Al-Fatiha has all of these different titles, so this is the second point that you want to note, is why is it called the mother of the Qur'an, the al-Kitab, the mother of the book? Why is it called the Great Qur'an? Scholars have various opinions as to why this is from them. Some of the scholars, they say that it is called the mother of the Qur'an simply because it is the first surah of the entire Qur'an. Remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that placed the Qur'an in the order that we see it today. It wasn't something that was just miraculously done by the scholars or by the Sahabas. This is something that Allah Azza wa Jal Himself had instilled and prescribed for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this is the way He taught the companions to recite the Qur'an. So scholars say this is why it's become the mother of the Qur'an, because it's the first surah, and generally speaking, the mother generally is sort of that primary leader when it comes to the household and taking care of her children. Another reason why scholars, they've called this one of the wisdoms of why it's called the mother of the Qur'an is simply because it entails all of the discussions of the Qur'an when it comes to our belief and our aqeedah. So when it comes to our belief, our creed, our aqeedah, knowing who Allah Azza wa Jal is, knowing the traits and the characteristics and the attributes of Allah Azza wa Jal, we find this all in Surat Al-Fatiha. This is why some of the scholars, they've said that anybody who wants to know, who wants to get a general synopsis of the entire Qur'an, just study Surat Al-Fatiha. Surat Al-Fatiha will give you a very strong synopsis or diagnosis of what the entire Qur'an is talking about. And we're going to look at some of those points when we get to the first ayah, insha'Allah. From the names of Surat Al-Fatiha is that it is also called Ash-Shifa. Ash-Shifa, which is the cure. And this is based on a narration of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he mentions that the opening of the book, meaning Surah Fatiha, is a cure to every poison. Is a cure to every poison. If you look back in some of the narrations of the Sahaba, Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu used to use Surah Al-Fatiha to perform ruqya and others. Some of the Sahabas, including some of the main students of Ibn Abbas, they used to use Surah Al-Fatiha amongst other surahs as well to recite over a cut or a wound that they would have. So even if a scorpion came and bit them, or they got injured in a battle, one of the ways to cure that is by doing what we call ruqya, or it's actually a type of cure or exorcism, depending on how serious the case is. But simply a bite or a wound, or you have a cut, you can use Surah Al-Fatiha to cure that. And scholars even have commented that generally speaking, you can use the entire Qur'an to cure yourself as well. So this is why another name for Surah Al-Fatiha, we said it is the cure. Another name it is that it is also called Al-Ruqya. It is also called the spiritual cure. And this one here is exclusive to a person who is possessed, or a person that sihr has been done on them, they've been possessed by a jinn, they have ayn and that sort of thing. Then Surah Al-Fatiha also is one of the primary cures for that spiritual poison or problem. Also Surah Al-Fatiha is called Al-Kifaya. Al-Kifaya, which is the sufficient, because it suffices for everything other than it, but anything else does not suffice it. So this is all based on narrations. Basically, Surah Al-Fatiha, because of what it entails, because of its discussion, this is why Surah Al-Fatiha becomes enough for you to understand who Allah Azza wa Jal is.